Hey, busy mom, you're the first one today. How you doing? Must be you're not that busy. We had two and it just dropped down to one. Hmm. This is going to be one of our biggest turnouts ever, I can tell. All right, here's Carla. Carla, you're not showing up in the little thingy. That's interesting. Carla's incognito today. Busy mom says she's at work. And she's laughing. Yeah, just a little thingy. Lots of love. I'm not sure. I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but I think I just finished the book. You know how we came up with a different name in the live chat and I'm like, and then I kind of revamped everything? I think it's finished. Now I'm just going to go through and proof it, and then I've got to ship it out to have it proofed to my friend who is a really good proofer. I never listened to her, but she does a really good job anyway. It's shorter than it was when we changed the name. Not a lot shorter, but it's shorter. I'm going to cruise through the other one and just see if I'm missing anything I want to plug in. So I might plug in a few things to it. We'll have probably days of staring at it. I'm hoping, I don't know, what is today? Wednesday already? Oh, I'm hoping to have it up this weekend. I hope. I have the first 27 pages on Patreon. Reading it, I mean, reading it out loud. Wait, yeah, I do. It takes a lot longer than I thought. I thought I could do like a series of 10-minute videos and break it up in order. The first one, I'm reading along and I thought, oh, I'm probably way over 10 minutes, And I looked and it was like 20 some minutes. So I thought, oh crap, here we go. This is going to be fun. Because the longer videos are tougher to upload. Yep, my hope, Carla, is to have it up on Kindle. And when I put stuff up on Kindle, I do a 24-hour freebie. So definitely email me at missmensa@gmail if you want to try to get a freebie. Then I'll be sure to let you know when it's on for a freebie. Kindle limits how many times we can do that and for how long and stuff. So, but that's the easiest way, because that way you can just download it right to any computer or any tablet or phone or whatever. It'll be up on Kindle before it'll be up on Amazon. Although I do have the cover already designed, so that's cool. And I actually really like the cover. Usually I look at the covers and just go, yeah, it's kind of bland. But I like the cover. You've heard everything that I've written, right? Like you already know everything. So the book isn't all that exciting. But it's exciting for me because it's good to have everything kind of all in a row. Carla says something. Let me click on it. There we go. I am just as clever as you with computers. Ooh, good for you. Don't know what Kindle is. Kindle is the digital format for books on Amazon. Like you can buy a paperback or you can buy a Kindle. version. And when you buy a Kindle, you just click on, buy here, and then you download it to your computer and you read it off the screen, or you download it to your phone or your tablet or your Kindle. A Kindle is like a tablet. A lot of people, I have a Kindle. A lot of people keep their Kindle books right on their Kindle. That was the last gift my mother ever gave me before she died, was my Kindle. She loved her Kindle big time, so she thought I would love one too. It's basically just a tablet, though. You can get them anywhere, like Best Buy or anywhere. Should we talk about the case? I took a look-see around the YouTube channels to kind of see what everyone's talking about, Do you guys remember when I said take a month off of this case or take a few weeks off of this case or whatever, step back from it, and then when you come back, nothing has changed? The same was true when I took a look-see. Everything is the same, except maybe people who are fighting with different people this week. I don't know. But everything's the same. 99% drama, 1% let's discuss the case. And that 1% is filled up with NK, NK, NK. I wonder if anyone actually believes that she's involved with anything, or if they're just saying it to try to have something to say. Or if they think they have to say it in order to not get bullied. So I don't know. You guys tell me, what's newsworthy in the case of Christopher Watts? What's the question on your mind? Also, tell me if you know what time it is in the UK, because I think a lot of our people are the UK people. So I'm just hoping we're not like in the middle of their night. You know what? I bet we are. 17:20, and okay. That should be a good time. Maybe they're having dinner. So that should be a good time. They're probably in some other live chat right now. I don't know, though. I don't think very many people do live chats in the middle of the day. Yeah, that's it. The bell never works. So people are probably like just randomly checking. Busy Mom, did your bell work on your thingy? Busy Mom got here in like 2 shakes. So I think her bell might have worked. I'll go randomly scroll on the thingy on the book and see. Will we give people a chance to get here? Let's see, I already read that one. I can blab a while about the whole spotting and cramping issue, because that just seems really weird. I think it just seems so weird, given everything that we've been told about this case, that she didn't go in for medical care when she was claiming she was spotting and cramping. Why didn't Shannon see her doctor before flying with her dad and the girls to North Carolina? She claimed she was already 9 weeks along by then. So why, in 9 weeks' time, while claiming she had high-risk pregnancies, fertility issues, lupus, fibro, blah, 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 didn't she see her doctor before heading off for a 6-week extended stay? Why? If you had a friend who was claiming she had lupus, claiming she had fibromyalgia, claiming she had all of these terrible problems, diseases, conditions, illnesses, whatever, and she didn't see her doctor for prenatal care, what would you say to her? I'd say, why aren't you seeing your doctor for prenatal care? And I would expect the answer to make sense, which of course I can't imagine any answer that would make sense. Hey, on the lake says, no, Belle, I just got lucky. Busy Mom says, that's how I found out about the live. Was it the bell? If so, that's cool. Your bell's working. I just can't imagine somebody claiming that they're spotting and cramping and they're not immediately seeking medical care for that pregnancy. What is wrong with that picture? What possible reasons could she have had for not seeking medical care? What the heck was going on? And why is it like pulling teeth to try to put these puzzle pieces together? I can see why Cindy Watts is confused. I can see why she's wondering what the heck really happened. Just look at all the different stories, right? Oh, no bell for Busy Mom. She was getting ready to watch the last video. So yeah, we're the no bells Bobs. We're Bobs with no bells. Hey, Susie's here. We have our heavy drinker here, where 6 beers is nothing. I'm joking, Susie. I know you're not a heavy drinker. You just live around a bunch of alcoholics. No, I'm kidding. So the whole idea that she didn't seek prenatal care, and the whole idea that when she claimed she was spotting and cramping, okay, if she was 100% healthy, which the autopsy report said she was healthy, if she was 100% healthy without ever claiming she had any major disease, illness, whatever, I would still be saying, why haven't you gone to the doctor? What's going on? Why are you not seeking prenatal care? But on top of it all, she supposedly had high-risk pregnancies and fertility issues and all that stuff. I don't know when she had fertility issues. And she didn't go to the doctor when she was spotting and cramping. And here's another question for you guys. Okay. She lands in Colorado, right? She's in network, and there's that excuse, okay? Because she was out of network in North Carolina. Well, she flies back into network, and does she see the doctor? No, not at all. Nope. Do you think maybe a phone call of, hey, doc, I'm spotting and cramping. Get right in here now, or get to the emergency room, right? Within 12 hours of spotting and cramping, they would want to do an ultrasound. I mean, they would want to do it immediately, but they definitely would be saying, come in first thing in the morning if she called late at night or something, right? There's just no excuse for her not seeing the doctor at all, period. Even in North Carolina, and even before she left Colorado to go to North Carolina, okay? But get this, think about this. She's in Arizona. That's what you do when you're spotting and cramping and you have a bunch of diseases and you're a high-risk pregnancy with fertility issues. Sure. Fail to see your doctor all week that you're home within network, and then hop on another plane and take off for the weekend. That's what you do when your marriage is falling apart, too. Hey, Chris, hang with the kids all weekend. I'll go ahead and micromanage you by phone and by text. So keep your phone handy, right? I'm going to take off now, but I'm working hard to save our marriage. So she takes off and she begins to not feel well. Did she not feel well on the flight there? Did she not feel well that week? Or did she have her spotting and cramping and then all of a sudden magically she felt just fine and she hopped on the plane to go have an I can't say it, MLM weekend. Okay? So she's not feeling well on the weekend. And her friends deduce that she's having either migraines and or diabetes. What about the spotting and cramping? How do you leap to diabetes if she's pregnant, high-risk pregnancies, lupus, fibromyalgia, blah, 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 the long list? How do you get to diabetes from that? She was never diagnosed with diabetes. So how do you jump to diabetes from that? If she's feeling lightheaded, if she's feeling shaky, if she's feeling nauseous, if she's feeling headaches, if she's feeling any of that crap, then ding, ding, ding. She's a pregnant woman who's claiming she's spotting and cramping. You get her to an emergency room. Diabetes? Are you kidding me? Oh, yeah, she's pregnant. Yeah, she's pregnant. Yeah, she was spotting and cramping. Uh-huh. I bet you her sugar's fluctuating. Yeah, even Nate knew. Exactly, Susie. How did Nate know? How did Nate know? And why would anyone even be thinking sugar level for any of the symptoms, right? Why aren't they thinking miscarriage? Why aren't they thinking problem with the pregnancy? You know what I'm saying? Why on earth would anybody be thinking sugar? Why wouldn't they immediately be saying, hey, she's pregnant, she's been spotting and cramping, this is not a good sign, she needs help now? Yes, the next door neighbor knew that she was diabetic before Chris knew she was diabetic. And of course, she wasn't diabetic. Why did the neighbor know? She just got home at 1 o'clock that morning. How did the neighbor know? Did the neighbor know she was spotting and cramping? Hey, Jessica Lynn. Hey, Loveland. I saw you sneak in here. Jessica Lynn says Nate knew everything but nothing at the same time. And here's another thing. Let's say that he and Shannon, or oops, I said it wrong. He and Shannon were best friends. Let's just say that Shannon was best friends with the next door neighbor and she shared everything with him, even in the middle of the night after she got home from Arizona or something, right? At 1 a.m. Did you see how he was like right out there on his porch or deck or whatever, getting the police officer's attention? It was like he was on a mission. Like he was supposed to be telling the police officer something. Why? Why were they saying that to the police officer? Diabetes, diabetes. Why? Why not spotting and cramping pregnant, spotting and cramping pregnant? What symptoms did she supposedly have over the weekend that would have had anyone saying diabetes for a person who never had diabetes, who was relatively young, right? Why? What is that about? Why wasn't it about spotting and cramping? Why? Why were there two people wanting to make dang sure that law enforcement was on the mind, the wavelength thought process of diabetes, sugar levels, blah, blah, blah? Really? What about spotting and cramping? What about no prenatal care? Jessica Lynn says, can we curse? Yeah, we can curse. Sometimes I curse too. Sometimes I curse really well. Loveland says, I think it was all lies for attention. I think she got attention growing up saying she was sick, and I think she liked it, the attention. Susie says, very good point, MM. Diabetes to the forefront. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. There's something weird about it. I mean, it's all weird. We all know that. It's all weird. But why? Why the diabetes narrative, and why the push to have law enforcement hearing the diabetes narrative? When there was a spotting and cramping and pregnant and no prenatal care, and do you want me to have an abortion? And I asked him if he would stay with me if we didn't have kids. Is that why? Did we want to stay totally away from that little issue? Is that it? I don't know. I mean, you tell me. I just think it's weird that a woman in her mid 30s, some say older, whatever, would all of a sudden be diagnosed by friends as being a diabetic, because I can't think of any of the symptoms of diabetes that would not have fit perfectly to the symptoms of a pregnancy that was in trouble. So was that it? Were they supposed to? Were they told to? Were they directed to talk to the police officers about diabetes? I mean, give me a symptom. Any symptom. I'm getting tongue-tied here. Give me any symptom of diabetes. And I'm telling you, if that was happening, then my first thought, if my friend said that she was spotting and cramping and not getting prenatal care, and she was claiming she was 15 weeks pregnant, my first thought wouldn't be whether or not she was diabetic. My first thought would have been, where's the nearest hospital? Sal 80, I think you're younger than me. Why not a mental health check? I thought that was the problem all weekend. And why didn't the call taker ask, does she have any history of mental health issues? Does she have any history of self-harm? Does she have any history of up and disappearing for a few days at a time? Why? Why weren't those questions asked? Here's Little Star. Hello, Miss Mensa. Just saw you were live. Yeah, nobody's bells are working, so we're the no bells Bobs now. Ooh, Sharon's here too. Hey, Sharon. Carla says, is anything known about the fetus in the autopsy report? We're told that it weighed, I think it was 2.4 ounces. I think it's what the autopsy said. I could be wrong, but it's pretty close if I'm wrong. And I thought that was interesting, since that was like the average weight of a 15-week fetus. I thought that was interesting. Also, Carla, oops. And it's not working. You can click in. There it is. Also, Carla, supposedly the fetus was expelled. That's another area of this case that has a lot of us wondering. Jessica Lynn says, I'm clicking, it won't click. Come on. It won't click. There we go. Why didn't Miss say check the knives? Exactly. Knifes. It's Knives. Why? Why would somebody say check the knives? Was there a history of self-harm? Was there a history of mental illness? Was there a history of Shannon disappearing for a few days at a time? Think about Cindy Watts' reaction when she learned that her daughter-in-law and her granddaughters were missing. She immediately figured that they'd be back, and she said that she figured Shannon was probably just punishing Chris. She said she thought she was just trying to show him and that she'd be back, right? Okay, you know what that tells me? Just my opinion, that tells me it wasn't the first time it happened. But yes, very good question. Check the knives. Check the knives for what? And here's the other part. Take it a step further. Check the knives for what? Did the friend know how many knives were in the house? Check the knives to see if any were missing? Okay, so did the friend have inventory of the knives? Check the knives for what? I mean, if you want to check the knives in your friend's kitchen, I guess you got to know what you're checking them for. Are there 20 of them? Are there 10? Where are they kept? With small kids in the house, they might have had the knife block way up high plus whatever others, up high, right? Check them for what? So did the friend know the inventory of the knives in the kitchen? Was the inventory of the knives in the kitchen somehow reduced at some point? You know what, you guys, if I knew the names, you know how you heard the birds the other day when I was doing a live chat? They're coming around. You'll be hearing them again. And they have the brightest red cap, just the brightest red cap. But I don't know the names of all these different birds without my little book, and I'm not going to go get my book. I should probably figure out how to take their pictures so you can see the pictures of the birds that you're hearing. If you haven't started hearing them yet, they're starting to sing. Uh-oh. Loveland says can't hear. Uh-oh. I sound robotic to Sharon. This is not good. Oh, good. Sharon says now it's clear. Because seriously, if the sound goes on this, we're screwed. Cosmo says, could demands of MLMs be so great that excuses for not attending? Huh? I don't get it. What, like she would have felt so pressured to attend that weekend? Is that what you mean? I'm guessing that's what you mean. Jessica says, I would bet my bottom dollar that there was a history of mental health issues. Shannon was losing control of her marriage and mind. On the Lake says, Friday through Monday, through THROUGH. Friday through Monday was the biggest cluster ever. Everyone was covering up stuff. Why didn't the officer question check the knives? Exactly. Carla says, didn't her ex-husband also say that she sometimes stayed away for days? Yes, he did. Jessica says, well, with the knife block, it'll show one missing, and that's what they had. Right, but they would have had other knives too, right? And here's the thing. I mean, you have more than your knife block. So here's the thing, like, how does a friend know what they had or what they didn't have, right? Loveland says, Carla, yep, she didn't even go home some nights. Jessica says, yeah, right, that house was not baby-proofed at all. Yeah, did you notice that? Did you notice that? Of course, it was kind of baby-proofed because the kids were in daycare full-time and then they went to bed at 6:30 at night. I'm kind of being facetious there. Jessica says, yes, that's what I think she's implying with that comment. True Crime Wifey. Oh, that's a cute name. The main reason women do not seek prenatal care is drug use, illegal and prescription. Money is not an issue because anyone can go to the health department and seek services for pregnancy. I don't believe money was the issue either, true crime wifey. I don't believe that for a second. If we're being told that she spent 25 grand on a neck surgery that what are they saying? It was elective? Do you believe that? Do you believe the surgery? If she's going to sink 25K in a neck surgery that's supposedly elective, plus the $60 for the neck brace off of Amazon probably, then I think she could have afforded prenatal care when she was spotting and cramping. Just my opinion. MJ says, hi, MM, and all. On early? Hi, MJ. Bling is the new black is here. Hey, Bling. It says, Bling is saying, are you doing a panel? I just saw you were live. Why, you want to do a panel? I don't know. Panels, kind of give me like a little bit of PTSD, if you know what I'm saying. Jessica Lynn says, is there really a price on your unborn baby's life? That's the part, Jessica Lynn. That's the part that I don't understand. We hear this over and over again, right? Oh, she was such a great mom, right? And she had all these close friends and, everything was kumbaya, right? Why is it okay to not go for prenatal care? Like, oh, yeah, that was no problem. Yeah, she was out of network. Yeah, no big deal. No, it's a big deal. It's a very big deal. And then when she's having symptoms over the weekend, it's diabetes? No, maybe it's the spotting and cramping. Could be. And didn't they have nurses in the crowd? Or they claimed, right? Wouldn't the nurses have been aware of the risk of maybe a tubal pregnancy? That can be life-threatening. Hello? Or the toxins that would have entered her body if there was some sort of, miscarriage going on. The risk to her life. The risk to the life of the fetus. Oh, but she was out of network. Yeah, she was out of network. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I don't think she ever gave a rat's tail whether or not insurance would cover the cost of something. Sorry, I don't buy it. Hey, Grace. Grace says, hello, Lady J. Hello, chat. Loveland says, she did say she didn't want the baby. Did she say that? I didn't know that. I think she said, what I remember from looking at all this stuff is she said that she asked him if he would stay with her if they didn't have kids. And she asked him if he wanted her to get an abortion. But I don't remember her saying she didn't want the baby. At one point she said, I can't do this about having 3 kids in Colorado. Sharon says, do you not like having people on panel now? I don't care. But I don't know. It's okay either way with me. Loveland says, hey, Grace. Bling says, yes, I had a big aha after your live a few days ago. Oh, good. Tell us your aha. Sharon says, hi, Grace, hun. Pink Ladybug's here. Hi, beautiful people. Yay, we're live. We're something. Grace says, Loveland. Grace says, hi, Sharon. Little Star says, I don't think she was spotting and cramping. She was looking for sympathy and attention from CW. Meanwhile, CW would have been delighted to hear spotting and cramping. Do you think maybe he didn't believe her? MJ says, ooh, you know what? I just thought of something, Little Star. Maybe nobody really believed her. Maybe people were like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then when she didn't go right in for medical care, maybe they're like, okay, yeah, whatever. Because remember that one friend said he didn't think her quote unquote health challenges were physical. MJ says SW didn't want her baby. She said so herself. I didn't know that, you guys. I did not know that. Okay, why am I so out of the loop on that? Sharon said, yeah, in a text. Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys, feel free to email it to me because I don't remember seeing that. But it could just be me. I may have seen it and, it's in the pile. Loveland says, hey, Pink. Grace says, little star, I totally agree. Loveland says she told NA in text that she didn't want the baby. Are you kidding me? Why do I not know this? Pink Ladybug says, hi, Loveland. Loveland says, NA responds and says she will support, etc. Aw. Okay, so why wasn't that the central focus of her not feeling well? Sharon says, I don't want to be nitpicky. Nick picky. Is that how you say it? I say knit, N-I-T picky. I've never heard Nick picky. Yes, I don't want to be nitpicky, but I'm good at it, LMAO. You know I am. Sharon, were you here when I said that I finished the book? I don't know if you were here yet. I don't think so. I just finished it, and now we're going to have like a few days of struggling. So don't anybody suggest any new title. Don't anybody suggest anything at all to add to it. Don't suggest anything at all to change it up at all. Because I think if we can stick with what we have and not come up with any other brainy ideas, because I tell you that title was just too good not to say whoa. Good timing, actually. It was very good timing, because if I would have gone ahead and proceeded right then later I would have heard the title Drastic Measures and I would have thought, dang, that would have been better. So I know I whine about it, but I'm actually really glad that live chat we had was right at that point, because it was before I submitted it. So, but now, be careful not to give me any good ideas for titles, because I might like them better than Drastic Measures. Sal says, all SW would have had to do is call the insurance company and it would have been approved. And she didn't even have to call the insurance company. She's a pregnant woman. They're going to take care of her. Plus, remember, what year was it? 2018? We're not talking 1990. We're not talking 1960, right? 2018, I highly doubt she would have had a problem spotting and cramping pregnant, high risk, fertility issues, and lupus and fibro, blah, 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 blah. I highly doubt she would have had a problem. And I highly doubt that the oil company has crappy insurance, too. Carla says, why do some people still want to deny these kinds of facts? It is also strange that a spouse does not ask if she has sought medical care. Exactly. And it's not just him, it's everybody. Every single person who knew she didn't go in for prenatal care. And if they didn't know, they should have known, because they should have said, how'd the doctor's appointment go? Right? Right? No, but we got to talk all about the gender reveal party. No, let's talk about the spotting and cramping and whether or not the baby is safe. Right? Busy Mom says, what do you think about the oxy? I think that she was taking who knows what, and I think that could very well be why she didn't want to go to the doctor. Pink Ladybug says she was looking for attention. Absolutely. I agree. And I think she also wanted to belong. That whole thing of joining all those MLMs, I think she had this thing about feeling less than and needing to belong. Plus, if you look at that basement, the stockpile, I think she spent so much money that she felt kind of almost trapped, like she couldn't let go of her MLM habits, because it would have been admitting defeat, right, or failure. But if you keep on buying, I guess, then you can keep on trying to grab that brass ring. Jessica says, I don't recall that either. Busy Mom says, Loveland, I've never heard this either. Sharon says, sorry, typo. Well, I won't ask you to proofread the book. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. You guys know I'm weird about spelling. Loveland says, that's when they discussed kicking CW out. That's when she said it, was when they were talking about moving people into the house that was about to get foreclosed on if they didn't keep CW there to pay for the house payments. Just saying. Sharon says, OMG, no. Sharon says, the book is done. Well, I'm done writing it. Now all we're doing is going through to make sure that, the sentences are complete and whatever. I might add a couple of things from the other one from before I revamped everything, but I don't think so. I think it's done. Sharon says, praise him, it's finished. Sharon says, is it available to buy yet? It'll be a couple days, Sharon. A couple days for Kindle, and probably a couple days after that for paperback. Bling is the New Black says, ERs are always covered, even out. Exactly, Bling. Maybe in 1984, even before that, I think, 1970-something, when this whole network thing started. You guys realize before that we didn't have the whole network thing, right? We had insurance. If you went to the doctor, it didn't matter where you were. If you went to the doctor, your insurance covered it. This whole network crap started about, I think, in the late 1970s. But it changed. I should finish my thought there. It changed. It was, a few decades there where it was, this doctor's approved or whatever. And even then, they covered people who were out of network. They just may not cover it 100%. Well, all of it changed in 2012. Was it 2012 or 2014? It might have been 2014. All that stuff changed. And there were minimum standards set in place by law that had to be provided. So there's no way on any planet that, with all the safety precautions that are in place now to protect the insured, that a pregnant woman with lupus, fibro, and et cetera, who claimed high-risk pregnancies, who claimed fertility issues, and who claimed she was spotting and cramping at 15 weeks along with zero prenatal care, would not have been seen by the emergency room without her being penalized financially. And let's face it, would she have cared? If she can buy a dining room table on credit right before filing a bankruptcy, would she have cared? Come on. Sharon says, maybe time to put my Romanov book down for a bit. Keep reading. It isn't up there yet, but I'll tell you as soon as it is. Stick with the Romanovs till we get her done. Loveland says, Carla, OMG, it drives me crazy that people don't look at the whole case, everything. Pink Ladybug says, all emergency room visits are covered regardless of insurance. Thank you, Pink Ladybug. Busy Mom says, Amazon? Sharon says, town hall meeting. I love that. Yeah, we're not on the island. I rebuke the island status. We are not inhabitants of the island. We are in the village of Watts. We actually have laws in our village, and we follow our laws. And on the weekends, the islanders come to our little village and buy their supplies. And they litter. So we spend the first couple days of the week picking up their litter. There's a little visual for y'all. In the village of Watts, we actually discuss the case. The island of Watts is just kind of a free-for-all. Loveland says, so do you guys remember that 2017 search on NK's phone? Was that the search of checking Ronnie out or checking Shannon out or something like that? Because wasn't that phone issued to NK in 2018? Sharon says, this is the only drama-free channel now in true crime. We're the only true crime channel. We're the only one. I shouldn't say that. There are lots of other true crime channels. We're the only true crime channel that's talking about the Watts case. The other ones are not true crime channels. They're more like, how can I make a quick buck off of fighting with a bunch of people and acting like I know something about the case? Loveland says, of SW? I think she means of the search. Loveland says, Sharon, love it. Cosmo says, your book title is quite, it is, isn't it? Apropos. I know. I love it. And it was all set to, well, it wasn't all, yeah, it was, wasn't it? When I was telling you about it before, and then we were talking about titles, and that title came up, and who said that title? Who said it? You know what? Before I submit it, I should do like a thank you for this title. Because it's just perfect. And that post that Shannon made saying she was in love with another man, why aren't we talking about this? Why is it 3 years later, right? And we're going, yeah, she said she was in love with another man. Sharon says, hi, Hope. Pink Ladybug says, we are true crime. Exactly. Where we know we discuss true crime cases. I thought it was so hilarious there for a while. Everyone was, part of the mantra of how to attack innocent people was to say, the case is closed. Stop talking about the case. The case is closed. That literally just cracked me up because in the true crime community, we talk about closed cases. So it was funny. The case is closed. Stop talking about the case. Sharon says, you came up with the title, but you can always dedicate the book to me. Did I come up with it? Oh, okay. Hope for Peace says, hi, Sharon. Lovely to see you. Sharon says, LOL. Lots of love. Sharon says, and you, Hope. That's either a kiss or a hug. I'm not sure. Loveland says, hi, Hope for Peace. Grace says, I agree. Perfect title. And that post is just so incredible. You know what? Let me see if I can, let's see here. How can I add a picture so I can show you guys let's see here. Maybe, okay, you guys hold on to your horses. If I somehow click the wrong thing, I'll hop right back up, okay? So, like, come and find me. Let's see. If I lose you guys, then come and find me in like 3 minutes. Okay, let's see. I know it's here somewhere. Book. No, it's not jumping. Maybe cover? No. Oh, I'm in the wrong thing. Ugh. Who invented computers anyway? I think life was simpler without them. Cover? No. Book. Oh, I have a lot of them. Let me see. And I don't want to share it till I know I'm on the right one. Maybe it's the one called Miserable. Nah. I don't know. Okay, let me do this. Be patient, lovies. I'm going to go to this file, hit new, click. Now I'm going to hit new, click. Now I'm going to hit search, picture, this device. Okay, now I'm going to find it. Let's see. Book. Is this it? Man, I have too many on this list. Maybe it's under a 1. No, maybe it's under a 2. Let's see what this one says. Nothing. Why? Or is it just taking a long time maybe? We'll try it again. Well, maybe I can scroll down and see the pictures. Because it's here. I know it's here. Okay. Book cover. Is that it? Book cover. I'm not sure if this is it or not. Yes, I found it. What was it called? Shoot. What was it called, you guys? Did I say it out loud? I don't know. Book cover. Let's find you again. So that way I can be sure to put the right one up there. I should stop calling everything book cover, though, because I have way too many of them. Okay, book cover, book cover, book cover. There it is. Book cover. SW Miserable Kindle. Why do I name it that? Book cover. Oops. Book cover. SW. Okay, now back to this one. Book cover. SW Miserable. Okay, now I think I'm going to be able to share this with you. I just saw the comment thread. Something measures. Okay, I hope this works. Oh, your browser is having trouble sharing your video. Ooh, I didn't want a video. I have no idea how I did that. Let's see. Maybe I can't share a picture. Maybe I can only share videos. That's why I had trouble sharing the video, because it wasn't a video, it was a picture. Okay, I know what I can do. I can edit my picture, and you can see it that way. Okay. Okay, what was it again? Book cover SW Miserable. Oh, now I can't scroll down. Do you guys see this? I'll make it smaller so I can. Okay. I just hit apply and it didn't show up. There it is, but you can't see it. Let's see. So I need to make it smaller. So we'll edit. Oh, now I need to make it bigger so I can see what I'm doing. So we'll edit. I'll try to make it smaller. So, okay, you know what? I don't think I'll be able to. There. I don't think I'll be able to make it smaller, because to do that, I'm going to have to really scrunch it, and then resave it and all that. And I'm just, Nope. But you got to see the title. At least you got to see the title. It's a good cover. I think, Sharon, I think you've seen it, right? Susie, I think you've seen it. Paula has seen it. Is Paula here yet? Yep, drastic measures. Dog just back from the vet. Son's dog just back from the vet. Does he have a spinal problem? Are you going to give him crate rest? Did your mother-in-law's dog just have the same problem? I'm scrolling. Jessica Lynn says, wait, I had a phone call. What post did Shannon say in love with another man? You don't know? You're more out of the loop than I am. Loveland says, oh, shame, Susie. Is doggy okay? Are we going to have to schedule a live chat to check on the dog? Seriously? I'm in. I mean, that's cool. It's a lot more fun than talking about this case. SW had a different name, right? She had an email that was Veronica. I think it was Veronica Horn. Oh, Susie, that's terrible. Oh, man. I'm sorry. Sharon says, hi, Susie, hun. Grace says, aw, I hope Pup is okay. Susie says, poor fur baby. I've got to make this bigger. I have it way too small. I'm trying to make the book fit. It's getting smaller. What's going on? I make it bigger and it gets smaller. Ugh. There we go. So I made it smaller and it got bigger. Susie said, hey, Sharon. MJ says, hey, Susie. You guys are so John Boyish. I still can't believe that you guys had a crush on John Boy. That shocked me. I want to hear who was it? Who's Bling? Bling, what was it you were having an aha moment about? When I don't think I saw your aha moment. Vet contacting specialist. Oh my goodness. To get an MRI. True crime wifey, I have a question. Were there ever any details as to which nut Cece was allergic? Rarely are children allergic to all, and the first allergy appointment would be 35 swabs approximately. Yeah. Well, you know how she reacted, right? Didn't she give her a sliver of something like a cashew or a something, an almond or something? She gave her a sliver of something. That's what her word, sliver. Jessica says, I've followed this for 3 years and never heard that. Okay, we'll get right to that, Jessica. So she gives her a sliver of whatever nut. And then she talked with a friend because evidently Cece got a rash around her mouth. She talked to a friend for a while about it, and then she decided to give Cece a bath before rushing her to the emergency room. If any of you have a child who is quote-unquote deathly allergic or quote-unquote severely anaphylactic to any nut, you're not taking the time to talk with a friend and you're not taking the time to give them a bath. That isn't how severe food allergies work. Jessica says, I followed this for 3 years and never heard that. It's a post, Jessica, that Shannon Watts posted on March 2nd of 2017 on her Facebook page that says, here, I'll pull it up and I'll read it for you. It'll take me just a minute. Let's see here. Click. I have it because it's right in the book. It's right here. I'm almost there. Scrolling. I'm almost there. Are we there yet? Okay, drastic measures. On March 2nd of 2017 at 9:57 a.m., 18 months before the tragedy occurred, Shannon Watts shared her feelings with members of an online support group for survivors of spousal abuse. Shannon wrote, quote, I'm scared. I made some choices during a moment of weakness. He knows. I believe he made similar choices. He doesn't know that I know. I've fallen in love, though, and I'm scared it's going to take drastic measures to be with the one I truly belong with. Sounds like a troll name. Is that Veronica, you mean? That was her email address, not a troll. Not a troll name, it was her email address. True Crime Wifey says 35 swabs would include dust, pets, nature, etc., and about 10 nuts to start. Jessica says, whoa, well, I'll be damned. Yeah, that's the stuff, that maybe we should be discussing and looking at it like, I mean, we are discussing it, obviously, but maybe all the people going, NK, 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 they're singing the NK chant song. Maybe they should be saying, who was the guy that she fell in love with? Who was the guy that she felt she belonged with, that she truly belonged with? Well, who was he? I'm more interested in finding out, like, gee, who could that have been, than I am whether or not NK Google searched bridal dresses. But, for all the people trying to act like they had this wonderful marriage and all of a sudden she was blindsided because he took up with a whore, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. That marriage was over. She was talking to a lawyer in, the end of March? Whenever it was. The same month she wasn't making the house payments, right? She was talking with a lawyer all about divorce. She told a young hairstylist the first week in July, I think, or the last week in June, whenever, the first week in July, I think it was, that she was getting divorced and looking forward to being single again. She posted in 2017 she was in love with another man. So I'm sorry, the whole doinking a coworker thing just kind of loses any and all energy. Jessica's saying, was it long enough to question Cece's birth? It was in 2017, March 2nd of 2017. And Cece was born in July of 2015. But it was right after that lifestyle getaway vacation. Sharon says they don't want to discuss things like that. In some chats, they don't want to discuss NA lying, but they want to discuss NK lying. I think it's interesting when they're going on and on about Christopher Watts calling NK bipolar. It's like, really? Like, okay, once again, they don't want to believe a word he says about anything unless he's calling NK the bipolar one. And then you'd have to kind of wonder, I guess he might seem like he's well versed on bipolar. I don't know. Why? Why do they care at all what he says? Like, I highly doubt that the person who got her college education, had a secure job, was making good money and working her butt off, right? Had issues that she was struggling to deal with. I highly doubt that that would have been the candidate in this true crime case for somebody like Christopher Watts to be diagnosing and then, giving his opinion on it. And oh boy, they like the sounds of that. So they'll go ahead and make that fact. Even though Christopher Watts said it, it's a fact because he said so. The same guy who's nothing but a liar, right? Yeah, he's a liar. He's a liar. Exactly. But wait, we like what he said. So we'll go ahead and we'll cherry pick that little piece of what he just said. We'll take those few words. We'll own those. Yeah. Must be true. Little Star says, what lifestyle getaway? In February of 2017, that's when they had Cindy come out and babysit the girls, and they took off out of the country. Where was it? The Dominican Republic, I think, for 5 days. It was a 5-day lifestyle getaway. And then a short time later, she's posting on a Thursday morning, I think it was 9:57 a.m., is that what I said? That she had fallen in love with another man. Loveland says that marriage was doomed from day one. Parents not supportive of partner and the relationship. Huge red flag. I think they were actually supportive. I think they were basically, escorted off the whole idea of attending. They didn't just sit there and go, oh, you know what, we're just going to, show them. We're just not going to go. They were going. They were planning on it. And more things happened that it was absolutely obvious to Cindy they weren't welcome to attend. Susie says CW knew the pregnancy was fabricated or it was not his. I think that's what CW believes. Susie says loads of people have said those getaways and conventions are a free-for-all. 5 days out of the country? Loveland says, why did CW disregard his parents' opinions of SW? Well, remember, she was telling him that his parents were rude to her and that I think, didn't he say they were embarrassing him and to stop being rude to her? So I think whatever it was she was telling him, he was believing it. Jessica says, I know I'm against a majority. Oh, this will be fun. Okay, Jessica says, I know I'm against a majority, but I do think that NK and Chris would have made a good match and likely made it. I do too. I do too. They both like muscle cars. True Crime Wifey says, wasn't their entire lifestyle a getaway? LMAO. They lived large with little money to back it. And where was Christopher Watts and all of that, Like, I don't know, he can claim clueless to a certain point, but come on. He saw the stockpile growing in the basement. And here's another thing. Why were they a one-car family? Didn't he think that was weird? I don't think I know any one-car families. Do you? I don't. Trying to think. I don't know of any one-car families. I know of three-car families. That seems to be more the norm nowadays than, 30 years ago it was a two-car thing, although some of us had four. But that's only if you live kind of in a heavy snow area. Susie's a zero-car family. Yeah, but you guys have great public transportation, I think, right? Or it's supposed to be. Little Star says, after the first bankruptcy, CW should have been all over their finances. You know what I think? I think he should have looked at the bankruptcy very closely and said, I'm not going to sign. I'm not going to do it. Because 2.5 years before that bankruptcy, his credit was fine. True Crime Wifey says, we have 3 cars with 2 drivers. Exactly. Yeah, I think 3 cars is more the norm now. When I was younger, it was pretty much a 2-car thing. Who has 1 car? You know what I mean? Who has one with 2 parents who both claim to be working and kids in daycare? Why would they have 1 car? Why didn't Christopher Watts go, why can't we afford 2 cars? Susie says that car was his pride and joy. She made him get rid of it. Little Star says, yes, you're right, MM. Most of the expenses were from SW. I don't think he should have signed the bankruptcy. I think he should have said, forget it. What the heck is going on? What do you mean a bankruptcy? Are you kidding me? Sharon's a 1-car family. Okay, good. Sharon and Susie are the outliers. That's a term that we use with statistics. It doesn't mean you're lying. Kimberly says, we have 3 too, and 2 drivers. Exactly. Loveland says, and clothing and furniture and all the rubbish. Exactly. Sharon says, that's because I'm single. So Sharon's got a 1-on-1, which would then equal to a 2-on-2, right? So you're not really an outlier. Susie's single too, but I think you guys live in areas that have really good public transportation. Hope for Peace. I've never seen anyone with that many handbags. Well, I think she belonged to an MLM that was about handbags. And they didn't look like, I don't know. Plus, I've said this before, but that isn't how you store your handbags. You don't hang up, if you're doing it that way, you're not supposed to be. You should have the little sleeve that they come in. Keep that sleeve when you get a new purse, you know, and they should be laid flat in their nice little fresh little box with that sleeve so it can breathe to a certain extent. You don't hang them on a hanger. Yes, MJ, lots of shoes. Kimberly says there's a handbag MLM. Evidently so, because she had a closet full of handbags. No, yeah, I think she was in a handbag MLM. Susie says, I'm going to say it's not as if they were high end. Sorry, not sorry. Oh, we've said it before here, dear. Jessica says, I think Shannon's entire life in North Carolina was stolen. I think that's why she sold the house so cheaply, furniture, everything, and ran off. How was her life stolen? Good point, Loveland. She wore those flip-flops every day. She should have had a closet full of flip-flops. Little Star, even NA was wrong when she stated her bag was... I wondered about that. I don't know my handbags at all. Seriously, I'm a cheap Coach girl, okay? Coach has a, like what they call a manufacturer's outlet thingy. I love getting a cute little Coach, and even my bigger Coach too. I love getting a nice little Coach purse for next to nothing. That to me is fun. I do have a Prada, and I know it's a Prada, and I know my Coaches are my Coaches, and I even have a couple cheapies too that I have no idea what they are. But I don't know. I would never hang my Prada on a hanger. And I don't even think I'd hang my Coaches on a hanger, although I have slung them on a coat rack before. I don't know. I'm not picky at all. At all. And I don't, I'm not like ooh la la. At all. And like I said, the Prada was a gift, which I love. My Coaches I buy from the outlet mall when they're like such a steal that you just can't resist, right? So I'm not at all trying to be snooty. I'm not snooty. Not one bit. But when people try to act snooty about that closet full of purses, I'm like, what? Really? And those shoes? I didn't see any of those shoes. If you zoom in on those photos of those shoes, I didn't see one pair. And I love shoes, and I have way too many shoes. I didn't see one pair that I'd say, ooh, cute shoes. Or, ooh, nice shoes. Not one. I looked at those and I thought, with those heels, really? Fibromyalgia? Do you guys know anybody in real life with fibromyalgia who isn't part of this true crime case? The people that I know with fibromyalgia who actually have been told by their doctor they have fibromyalgia do not wear 5-inch heels. Susie says that she's snooty until she opens her mouth with her I almost said thick Scottish accent, with her rough Scottish accent. I love your accent. Except when you talk, Susie, I'm paying attention to your accent more than I'm paying attention to what you say. Because I listen to you talk and go, oh, that's so cool. Little Star says, I used to be into high-end stuff. Now all high-ends are in dust covers. Using purse from Marshall's after my toddler's bottle spilled stained my big. Yeah, kids have a way of neutralizing your snootiness, don't they? If you're a snooty when you first have your first baby, then you lose your snooty really well as soon as they upchuck on your shoulder. Did you get, for those of you who worked when your babies were small, do you ever notice how they never ever upchuck? Never upchuck, especially nursing your babies, right? Never upchuck. Until you're at your mother-in-law's house and you're handing the baby and it's like all over your suit. Yeah. I think it was the car ride. Because here's something that you younger women might not realize. Babies nowadays are in the car all the time. They're in their car seats, in the car all the time. And I've seen way too many parents pull their kids out of the car, pull the whole car seat out and leave especially with real estate, they don't take their baby out of their car seat. They take the car seat out of the car. And so the baby's staying in the car seat the whole time they're looking at a house. It's like, can't you hold your baby? I don't get that. I don't get that. But babies now are used to being in their car seats for extended periods of time. Well, back in the day, we held our babies. Like, I mean, we had car seats, but my mother-in-law used to hold my babies while my father-in-law was driving. That was one of the, oh my gosh, she did that again. Are you kidding me? Routines. I could leave the car seat. Didn't matter. You know, because she had X number of children, right, without having any car seats. And, you know, personally, I think babies would be better off without car seats. I really do. And I know I'm not saying to drive around with your baby not in a car seat. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is put your baby in a car seat while you're driving, but then drive a little bit less, okay? You don't have to take your baby everywhere all the time, do you? Really? And then as soon as you get there, pick up your baby. The car seat is for transporting the baby, not for holding the baby. True crime wifey's laughing at Miss Metza. That's okay, it's allowed. I'm getting used to it after the last 3 years. Yeah. See, Sharon, you get what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like, hold the babies. Don't prop their bottle. If you're done nursing and you're feeding your babies bottles all the time, don't prop that bottle. Do not prop that bottle. If you don't have time to rock your baby and feed your baby, please don't have babies. Please do not have babies. Loveland says, LOL, lots of love. I tried to hold my son as much as possible, but he was super heavy. I miss little baby phase in a way, and in a way, nope. Don't miss it at all. Yeah, the upchucking right when I was heading out the door, you know, for work, that was always fun. Actually, it was kind of funny because it was kind of like, you know, right on cue. And you know, if you brought along a different jacket, then it wouldn't happen. If you brought along a spare just in case, it wouldn't happen. It's only when you didn't bring along the other jacket that it would happen. Sharon says, feeding time was bonding time for me. I loved it. Now people just prop them up. I know it. They're in their car seat and they're like, I don't know. And then when a young parent says to me, oh, look at that, he can hold his own bottle, I think, yeah, I wouldn't be telling people that if they're that young and they're already able to hold their own bottle. I don't think I'd be bragging, honey. I don't think I'd be bragging because that means he's had too much practice trying to feed himself. MJ says, my daughter-in-law has her baby in her crib for a very long time. Now the baby has a huge bald spot. Poor thing. Well, wearing off a little bit is not that unusual at all. But if the baby's in the crib all the time, then of course that's not okay. Little Star never got puked on? Really? Oh, but you got peed on many times. You got to be faster. You got to hold the new diaper kind of up above, and then you got to get faster. That's good. You never got puked on. That's really good. And I don't mean puke. I just mean spit up. But still, it was enough that you're going, oh man. Sharon says babies are more props now. LOL. Lots of love. Well, you know what? Back in the day, like I don't even know how long ago this was. I hate doing reverse math because it's like, oh my gosh, really? That many years? I would say in the 1980s, so it's been a while. There was a radio talk show lady. Her name was Dr. Laura. And Dr. Laura used to always start saying, hi, I'm my kid's mom, and then she would have callers call in and they would say things like, yeah, we found a babysitter, but we're not sure, blah, 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 blah. And Dr. Laura would pounce on the caller and say, why do you have a babysitter for your baby? Why did you have a baby if you're not going to raise your own baby? Oh, I didn't know that, True Crime Wifey. True Crime Wifey says Dr. Laura is still on the radio. You guys have to find her. She is a hoot. But I haven't listened to her in a long time, obviously. But back in the 80s and probably 90s, she was all about yelling at people, like yelling at them about having other people raise their children and stuff like that. It was pretty interesting. I don't know, it was interesting. She was on at night. Probably most women in the United States were folding laundry about that time. Ooh, Loveland's sharing. LOL, lots of love. I got puked, peed, and pooped on. MJ remembers Dr. Laura. Yeah, people thought she was really rude and everything, right? But she made a lot of good points. And I remember her always saying, I'm my kid's mom. Hey, Paula. Oh, she does? True Crime Wifey says that Dr. Laura still yells at people. MJ says, hi, Paula. Loveland says, no wonder my great-grandmother looked after me when Mom was working. My mom must have heard Dr. Laura. Well, back then, it was different because back then, you didn't want to send your kids to a daycare center. There were few daycare centers anyway. They were just starting up. But you just didn't want to send your kids to a daycare center. It's like you wouldn't work. If that was your only thing, you would be like, I don't want to work. So my mom took care of my oldest for the first year, and that was the best year of all because she was so cool with the way she would do this. Like when he first walked, I'd get home and I only worked 3 miles away from her house, right? So I'd bring him in the morning and go to work. I was only a few miles away, so I'd head over there on lunch and feed him and stuff. And I had some flexibility too with work, so it worked out really well. But anyway, when he took his first steps, she's not a very good actress, and she would try to act like she didn't know, she would be like, and then she would wait until I was right there, and then she'd say, let's see if maybe he could take his first steps, and then kaboom, he'd be zoom, because he had already taken his first steps, and he was zoom, zoom, back and forth all afternoon, but she didn't want for him to take his first steps without me being there, you know what I'm saying? So I thought that was really sweet. Same thing with his first teeth. She knew dang well. She admitted all of this later, 20 years later. she admitted it. She knew dang well that he had broken his first tooth coming through. But I was the one who discovered it, of course, because my mom was cool enough to step back and let me be the one to discover it. So that was the best. Then my mother-in-law babysat, and that was like 90% wonderful. But like I said earlier, she would actually kind of, I think, make it a point to have errands to run when she had my kids there, because it was kind of like always a thing that they wouldn't use the car seats. so, and yeah, I got to tell you, it wasn't that big of a deal. It was a big enough deal for me to bitch about it, right? Not to her, but to my husband constantly. She's your mother. Tell her to use the car seats. But it still was like, if I would have thought that the kids' lives were in danger or whatever, I obviously would have found alternate daycare. It wasn't that big of a deal because back then there were still people who did not use car seats. I'm talking parents who did not use car seats. So I used car seats, but it wasn't like it is now where babies are living in their car seats. Oh, Susie still has her son's teeth. That's kind of creepy, Susie. Maybe you should, I don't know, put it in a charm or something. Maybe put it in go to the jewelers and tell them you want to put it in a little charm heart or something. And then you could make it part of a tie pin or something. A tie clasp, you know what I mean? You could maybe get cufflinks made for him that have his little teeth inside. That's kind of weird, though. That's kind of gross to still have his teeth. I hope you don't still have his umbilical cord. Sharon says she says, how do some spend so much time online when they have full-time jobs and kids? I see the same people up online all the time. I think that they're lying, because there are many of them who say, oh yeah, I won't even say what jobs they say they have, but I think they're lying. And the ones who say they have a child, whatever age, I bet you they don't have custody. I'll just bet you. True Crime Wifey says, I still throw my right arm across. Yes, I know, right? I know it. I think it's automatically connected to your foot when the braking, boom, then your arm goes, right, whoever's sitting there. My dog flew the other day on one, because I take him for a ride once a day. And he flew, and I can't remember. I thought, oh, come on, really? He was being kind of dramatic, because there was a big truck coming, and then so I put the brakes on fast, and the dog kind of went, meow. And at first I'm like, oh no, and then I thought, that was a little dramatic. I think he was kind of eating up the attention with that one. Susie says, clearly they are lying about work. I think so. I do think so. I think they're lying about kids too. They might have a 2-year-old, but I have a feeling they're not the primary parent. Because you and I both know when you have a 2-year-old, you're not going to be sitting online forever. We have a couple of members who will be like, yeah, I'm putting the baby down, be right back, that kind of thing. But you can tell they're not totally obsessed or jumping on everything. Little Star's talking about Shannon being at home, saying she worked from home while the kids were off to daycare full time. I think it's interesting that Christopher Watts is the one who came home from work, changed his clothes, got in the family car, drove to the daycare center, and picked them up. That's what people should be talking about. What's that about? She was right there. Hello. But boy, we're just terrible if we, believe the people who are insisting there was an open CPS case. Mrs. J-Dub says kids need social interaction with other kids. They just couldn't afford it. I disagree. I think kids need to have social interaction with their family and their friends and their neighbors, their parents, friends, kids, and stuff like that. But I don't see daycare as a reason, like, I don't see social interaction as a reason to send kids to daycare. Because I think that the whole idea of daycare centers is like everybody's in line, stand in line. I don't know. It breaks my heart. I live in a community where we have a lot of festivals and stuff, right? And the daycare centers get involved, which is great. They put ropes on these children. They put ropes on these children. Now, maybe they're not actually bound and gagged. Maybe they're just, I had to turn that off. Maybe they're just hanging on to something, right? But I think that might go around them. I'm not sure. And then they have a long line of kids who are walking in this line, to go to the festival. I mean, these are babies. These are little babies. They're not. Well, the babies are in the strollers, and even that, they have these huge strollers that have like 4 babies on a thing, right? And it's like, really? I mean, as a society, we're so concerned about chickens that are in, the wrong kind of whatever. Do they get enough sunlight and all that? You know what I'm saying? Or whether or not they're free reign. What about our children? I think our children in this country need to be free reign children myself. That's my opinion. I think it's sad to think that lining children up with these ropes and then walking, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't think a 2 or 3 or 4 or 5-year-old should ever be one of many, you know? There's enough time of being one of many or lining up when they're older. And I don't even think they should be lined up then either. I guess I'm for chaos, right? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me that ever lining up toddlers and telling them to stay in line, walk straight. It's terrible. It literally, it breaks my heart. When I see it, I just think, oh, those poor babies. Those poor babies. True crime wifey says tethering the children together. That's a good word for it. Yeah, that's probably the word I was looking for. True crime wifey. When I'm like those ropes, tethering the children together like that looks like a professional dog walker. I don't like it. I don't like it either. You know what else I don't like is when I see these groups of people going. I think it's great they're going to the festival. That's great, or wherever they're going to the park or whatever. But so many times I see the people who work for the daycare centers are walking together. Well, the kids are basically, there's like 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and then the kids are walking in their roped line, right? And then the people who work there, they're talking to each other, blah, 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 talking to each other. Well, you know what? Those parents are paying a pretty penny. Loveland's leaving us. Bye, Loveland. See you soon, baboon. Those parents are paying a pretty penny that I think all 4 of the people. Now, maybe the one in the back should make sure there aren't any strays. Maybe the one in the front should be watching for traffic. But the other 2 shouldn't be walking with the others and gabbing. They should be walking alongside the children and talking, in just my opinion. Exactly, DG. Are they getting ready to go into the military or what? I'm looking at your message, little star. I wonder, did Head Start use those too? Because the time frame I'm talking about, Dr. Laura and stuff, I think Head Start wasn't started yet. I don't know when it got started. I'm not sure. But was that started? I don't know. I think Head Start was the one though that it was where they tried, instead of like kindergarten, then it was when they're 4 years old, then 3 years old. Like they kept making it younger and younger that they wanted kids to go there, right? Which was great. If you have a situation where you have to work and where the children need to have good care, right? It's great that Head Start's available. I don't like those ropes. I don't like warehousing children. I don't like that at all. Which is exactly what Dr. Laura's whole thing is about. If you're going to have babies, raise your babies. Paula says, like the chain gang walk in prisoners outside. Sick. And you know what I wonder? I wonder if parents do spot checks throughout the day. I wonder how much they know. Like, I don't know. Although daycare centers do track everything as far as food and nap time and stuff. So the parents probably have a good idea. Ray's here. Here's our mom. We were talking about babies. Yeah, you might have to rewind, Ray. You'll hear me say things like, because I don't know, I wasn't really, I mean, my kids had car seats, but it wasn't that big of a deal back then. A lot of people didn't use car seats. So you might flip at this one, Ray, because you're a mom. I mean, a mom of a young one. Busy Mom says, oh no, I missed so much. I had to go into a meeting. Oh, poor Busy Mom. Little Star says, I taught at a Title I school, so that Head Start was on our campus. They were always tethered. Ugh, really? And they looked terrified? Really? That's not okay. Susie says, hey, Ray. Busy Mom says, maybe I should join an MLM so I can have time. Yeah, really, then you could be an employee and an executive of $1 billion company, and then you could go on business trips and schedule business lunches, and then you could be a stay-at-home mom while your children are both in daycare. I wonder if they were tethered for $2,500 a month. But you know what I'm saying? All the noise we've heard about the poor chickens who don't have it good. What about our children in the daycare centers who are tied to a rope for their outdoor time? Why is it that it seems animals have more rights than children sometimes? And why is it that children's rights, the whole child abuse thing, came after animal rights? Did you know that? Did you know that? Animals had rights before children. There's something wrong with that picture, guys. I'm all for the daycare centers that are clean, well staffed, they have good food, they, know what they're doing. I don't know. I don't know if that tethering thing is so great. Okay, DG's bringing up a tough subject. Here we go. You guys ready? This is going to get dicey. DG says, don't mean to get too political, but abortion people care more about chickens than babies. I disagree, DG. Number one, I don't think there are abortion people. I think the people who are against abortion at all costs, no matter what, period, use the term pro-choice, or not pro-choice. Yeah, they use the term pro-choice for the people who are not also totally against abortion, no matter what, at all costs. End of sentence. Okay. And they coined the term pro-life. Okay. But I know a lot of people who are pro-life and who also believe that a woman has the right to get an abortion, that it's between her and her doctor. But they're still pro-life. So that whole abortion issue, like when I see bumper stickers that say really mean things, or I see billboards that say really mean things, I just want to try to explain to the people who call themselves pro-life, they're doing it wrong. If what they really want to do is try to bring an end to abortion, they're doing it the wrong way. Picketing an abortion clinic, that makes no sense. No sense at all. Holding a sign, especially they usually man the lines with men. Literally, they man them. So you have a row of guys walking with signs that say mean things, trying to get in the way of the cars pulling in. Do you think that's going to convince anyone to not have an abortion? I don't think so. Right? So I would say leave the abortion clinics alone. Don't go pick it out front. It's not going to do you any good. Don't do those billboards. Don't do those bumper stickers. Instead, reach out to people you know who might be in some sort of a tough spot. If somebody is in a tough spot, are you going to commit to that person to help them raise their babies? Right? That's how. Yes, Ray, sometimes they'll have children walking those lines, those picket lines, and I absolutely agree that children should not be on the picket lines. I absolutely agree. That's just my opinion. I do think that everybody has a right to their own opinion. I just wish that the people who call themselves pro-life would stop having bumper stickers and billboards and picket lines with signs that say mean things. And I, heartily applaud their efforts to try to bring an end to abortion. That's wonderful. But the way to bring an end to abortion is not by calling somebody a murderer. The way to bring an end to abortion is by wrapping your arms, figuratively speaking, around people who are in distress. Right? Oh, Kimberly, I haven't heard that one before. Kimberly says, I would tell them that they have no womb to talk. And here's the thing, to use the term pro-life, that would then mean that anyone who's not pro-life for what they stand for must be pro-death, right? And that's not how it works. That's just not how it works. I think there are people on both sides of the aisle who are pro-life. And I think that the people who are really, really, really pro-life, like no abortion ever, no matter what, I think that they need a different way of trying to bring an end to abortion than saying mean things or having mean words on a sign. That's just my opinion, because I think there is a need, to help people in distress. And if the people who truly care about bringing an end to abortion want to bring an end to abortion, then they should be figuring out a way to help the people in distress. DG makes an interesting point. I'm clicking on it, but it's not coming up. There it goes. People who are against the death penalty are for abortion. Ironic. Interesting. Well, I think, I'm not sure, but I think it's about for the liberty or the rights or the freedom that they're about. I think that's what it's about. I don't know. I just think that there's a way to help bring an end to abortion. Not a total end, obviously, but there's a way to help lower the numbers, right? and I think it's not totally unheard of to think that people would maybe make a commitment to a young mom and say, hey, you know what? I'm your honorary aunt or something like that, or I'm your honorary whatever. And make a commitment to that child, right? Take a look at, I guess, what reasons would a woman have of going into the abortion clinic, and then try to problem solve from that direction, I think. And you know, maybe, and like they say, if just one can be saved, it's worth their hard work. Well, that's good. Then maybe their hard work could be in a way that could actually help someone change their mind in a good way, in a healthy way, in a supportive way. Oh, Miss CD has an update on the date. Sharon, I told him I'm not interested and he was fine with it. Good for you. Good for you. Now it'll be interesting to see if like a week from now if he tries again. But that is very good. If he's fine with it, that's the best you can hope for. You don't want a lurker in your midst. True Crime Wifey is driving again. Both hands on the wheel. No shots every time we name another disease. I love it, DG, that you didn't mean to get political and then I rambled on and on about billboards and bumper stickers. Busy Mom is thinking about joining an MLM. I think you're onto something there, Busy Mom. I think we all really have been missing the boat. And you know what? All they need is your credit card number, right? And your ship to address. You need some space in the basement. You need the internet connection too, right? We should join one to discuss it. That'd be a good idea. We would probably be the only MLMer to join who would get kicked out. We would probably be asked to leave. I love it when I sit here and babble on about billboards and bumper stickers and you guys are going back and forth through chat. I should just put it on live sometime and you guys could just talk. That's what we could do. Like, we could set the same hour every day where I just turn it on live and then I go get my stuff done. And you guys can just have fun talking. That way we wouldn't have to worry about the bell that doesn't ring, right? Mrs. Fluffer's here. Doing school pickup. You know, playing mommy. She probably has chocolate stashed under her seat, I betcha, where the kids can't see it. Did you guys ever have PMS cookies when your kids were little? Kimberly says, love listening to you. Yeah, I can ramble pretty good, can I? Incessant rambling. Do you guys know what PMS cookies are? Ooh, Probar. I bet that'd be a good PMS cookie. Do you know those, what are they called, Milano cookies? They're like those little, I don't know what to call them. You know the Milano brand where you can get like different flavors? They have a really good dark chocolate. Oh, Mrs. Fluffer's too hot now. She just had French fries. All right. Starch. Yes, Pepperidge Farm. Thank you, True Crime Wifey. Well, I used to refer to not when my kids were little, when they were older. I used to refer to those as my PMS cookies, hands off. And it worked because nobody wanted to mow down at Mom's PMS cookies. So they didn't disappear in the first 5 seconds after getting home from the store. Oh, I love Milano. Missy D loves Milano cookies. I called them my PMS cookies because I noticed that I only pick them up from the store like once a month. Me either, Susie. I never really suffered from it either, but I had my Milano cookies. I just noticed that it was like every, I don't know, 4 weeks that I thought, oh, gotta have a Milano. And they were just way pricey, right, for what they were. Well, back in the day. You guys do realize food prices have come way down from what they were 30 years ago. Way down. I remember back, let me think, like 25, 28 years ago, I remember paying $4 to $5 for a box of cereal. I kid you not. Yes, the cookie part just melts in your mouth. Exactly. But there are so few in a little pack, right? And they were pricey compared to the other cookies that I thought, oh, how can I, where do I hide these, right? But I didn't hide them. I just called them my PMS cookies, and they were safe from that point forward. Mrs. Fluffer says, yes, we love them. And Mrs. Fluffer is our resident chocolate expert. I almost got some at Walmart before, but I said no. Yes, Mrs. Fluffer, they were for a very special occasion. Yep, Mom's got to have her PMS cookies, that's for sure. I was scrolling through about the billboards and bumper stickers. I think I'll do a video sometime called Billboards and Bumper Stickers. Has a nice ring to it. I'm so glad that that guy got the hint, Miss CD. I'm really glad. But if he starts bugging you like in a week or two, then you know you're dealing with something weird. And if that happens, you got to just ignore him. Just ignore him totally. Don't try to explain why. If he comes circling back around thinking you guys should be good friends, be careful. Susie says, I think we are the only channel talking about cookies in a different context. Paula says, those PMS cookies, yum. And don't forget the pepper spray, just in case. Like if he dares show up at your door or something, beware. Really beware. Because he might not like getting rejected. Was he sober when you told him? Of course, he may never be sober. He might run a certain level of beer, like antifreeze in a car, Kimberly says, dang, wish I would have thought of that. Now, Mrs. Fluffer, when she picks up her kid, she's going to head to Walmart to get some PMS cookies. Isn't it amazing? All of the high-priced marketing gurus that all these companies hire, right? Nobody ever created something called the PMS cookie. Just imagine the marketing. Oh, good. Texting is better. Good. Very good. Ray says there's some great MLM blogs online about people who've escaped. Yes, I've seen a couple of those videos. Read one. There's a couple of channels on YouTube too where people who got out are making videos. Read one a couple of years ago called something like, I didn't choose the Hun life chose me. Wow. UK calls MLM people Hun bots. I always wondered what a Hun bot was. So do you think the Hun bots were part of like attacking us at first? Susie says, I'm in the UK. I never heard that. Yes, Kimberly, wouldn't that be great? A great marketing tool, I would think, and then people could say it was sexist and whatever, and it could be like, no, nobody's saying you can't have PMS too. I don't care what your gender or sex or whatever. I don't know why they're saying gender all the time. Because I think they're supposed to be saying sex. I'm not sure. But, like, anyone can have a PMS cookie if they want. Anyone can have PMS if they want. It's their own truth. It's just a great way to, keep your cookies right in your own pantry without having to hide them in your bedroom. Actually, you could, whatever your favorite thing is, just take a marker and do it, right? We could call it Bob. Yes. Oh, that's a better idea, little star. We could start our own MLM. We could study the MLMs from the inside. That would be funny, wouldn't it? If we created an MLM with a product, product-based MLM is not a pyramid scheme. And the product could be PMS cookies. Sign up now. You can get your PMS cookies at cost. And, they're only twice as expensive as the grocery store, but, they're better. DG says, I heard essential oils are really evil one. You guys are talking about the cooking channel? I've heard that. Ray says they have scripts they post. Yeah, parenting forum popular in the UK calls them Hunbots. That's what we should do. We should create our own product-based multi-level marketing company to push PMS cookies. And then we could just stand back and watch people pay twice as much for them. Then we could hang out on social media all day long while our kids are in daycare full time and our husbands are at work. So let's come up with a different abbreviation. Yeah, because that would actually, there's probably a better number of people with the baby boomers and all. If we did, I can't think. Because PMS is easy, right? But menopause just doesn't have a ring to it. Something catchy. Man, just look at us. Dream chasers, one and all. I still don't get why on earth anyone was talking about diabetes with those symptoms. I don't get it. Evidently, spotting and cramping. Well, I think I said it earlier. Kimberly, you're right. Bob says it all. We could just go with Bob. Well, Bob cookies doesn't sound right. We could go, I don't know. But this whole diabetes thing and those symptoms that we were talking about at first, why? Why would anyone even begin to think sugar level? So could it be that they didn't believe her? Could it be that she even confided in some that she wasn't really spotting and cramping? Because remember, she confided in 2 people at least that we're aware of that she was cured of lupus. Ooh, Ray's calling her kids, not her children. She hasn't reached the monster level yet, but she's calling them kids. And she says, sounds great. I'm sick of looking after my kids all day. Okay, go for a walk. Miss CD says, whatever she said, it's disappearing. The clicker's not working. Let's see here. Miss CD says, well, I think people automatically assume when someone's sugar drops, they have diabetes. But that's not true, especially if they're spotting and cramping and pregnant and no doctor. 3 of a kind's here, or 3 of a kind's here. Nope, 3 of a kind. I'm clicking. Oh, Lordy. Thanks, Doc. Yes, it was a joke. Yeah, if I ever say anything snarky to you guys, I'm kidding. Sharon Ann says, hi, 3. 3 of a kind says, I'm late to the party again. You missed a really good party, too. I'm joking. We're just talking about the whole diabetes thing. She said she was spotting and cramping. She had all those weird symptoms, and they're thinking diabetes. How about thinking call an ambulance and get her to the nearest emergency room? True Crime Wifey says, I think NA started the diabetes stuff with law enforcement. I think what she said was that someone on the weekend said it. I don't know. DG says she's probably an alcoholic and was drinking too much when she was pregnant. Yeah, that whole thing of how law enforcement saw the BAC or were told the BAC, and then they went back and said, do you think she might have been drinking while she was pregnant? And they said, no, she wouldn't do that. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Are you kidding me? Where are the surveillance videos from the airports? Seems to me there was a serious crime to be investigating. So they said, oh, okay. Yep, lemon drop martinis. Yes, 3 of a kind. This must have been an impromptu live today, Actually, we planned it the last time we talked. But we didn't say a time. We just said, yeah, I hope on Wednesday. If not, then I'll catch you next weekend. So I guess I wouldn't call that planned necessarily. Your comment just reminded me of something too. Susie said, alcohol and patches. Remember the whole patch thing, how she didn't have a patch on in the autopsy? I think that the time of death may well have been right after she woke up in the morning. True Crime Wifey is educating us about gestational diabetes. Gestational diabetes doesn't come about until the 3rd trimester, correct? I just remember being tested in like the last 3 months or so of my pregnancies. I think the 3rd trimester is when things get dicey if you have gestational diabetes. Because I remember being tested, I think, in my 5th month. So yeah, I mean, heading in that direction. If you have diabetes in your family, I think they might test earlier. I don't know. Little Star says she could have been raiding the minibar after turning in for the night. True crime, or maybe around 24, 26 weeks. It was later on, though. I think I was in my 5th month. Miss CD says anyone's sugar can drop hypoglycemia if they don't eat properly or skip meals. Exactly. Our sugar levels, all of us, no matter what, our sugar levels go up, no, they go up, down, whatever. Before you eat, after you eat, whatever, the numbers can be all over the place. But didn't she sit there and not eat and not drink water? I mean, well, there you go. 15 weeks pregnant, you're not eating and not drinking water? Ray says, did she drink while pregnant? Maybe when she got home that night? Stress? 3rd trimester is where the fun happens. Yes, I can't put socks on. Oh, that's funny. You have to get some Velcro shoes. I'm kidding. Don't do it. Just wear flip-flops. I was wearing flip-flops a few weeks back, and we got snow. All of a sudden, snow. Nobody was expecting it. It was beautiful the day before. I threw on my flip-flops and flew out the door, and there was snow. I'm like, really? Really? Snow? No way. 3 of a Kind says, there's this mortician I watch on YouTube. She did a live with 2 other morticians where they discussed SW, and even they thought the reasoning they gave for the BAC level was a little weird. Miss CD says she told Addie in a text she needed a stiff drink. Yeah, she had a lot of posts on her social media accounts about drinking. True Crime Wifey says, I did have to retest once because I ate a bag of Sour Patch Kids the night before my test. Well, there's good planning on your part. LOL, lots of love. Maybe you shouldn't have been eating that. Just saying. Susie says, oh, 3, that sounds interesting. 3 says Velcro shoes, LOL, lots of love. 3 of a Kind says, Susie, you should definitely go watch that live. It's Carrie the Mortician. There was one, is she the one with really black hair? And she's very articulate? Because there was one who did one about, what's it called? Oh, what's it called? Where you expel the fetus, but it's not expelling a fetus. It's actually expelling, like giving birth. Not crib death. What's it called? Something death. And that mortician did a video and pretty much was like, no, about the whole, what's it called? What's the term for it? Okay, good. The black-haired one. She did one, what's it called about the, not crib death. That's what I think. Coffin birth. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Miss CD. Oh my goodness. And the whole idea that at 15 weeks at 4.2 ounce fetus, 4.2 ounce. We're not talking 4.2 pound. Yes, MJ, coffin birth. We're talking 4.2 ounce. And that somehow, I guess, didn't even Chris say that he saw it? He saw that it had expelled. Really, Chris? Yeah, we're going to believe that. I mean, think about it, 4.2 ounce. Heck, we've already been talking about PMS cookies. I guess we can talk about this. 4.2 ounce. 3 of a Kind says it's just so out there. And it's so out there, I don't believe it. I do not believe it. Coffin birth is extremely rare. Extremely rare. And I highly doubt there was a coffin birth. Her pregnancy was 15 weeks. Does that mean she was actually 13 weeks along? We still haven't had that question answered. So was she actually 13 or was she actually 15? 4.2 ounces? And we're supposed to believe coffin birth? Really? Miss CD says, but in her autopsy, her uterus was prolapsed. That's not the same as coffin birth. I think Chris was on top of her with pressure on her uterus. I don't. The pressure on her uterus or back causes the prolapse. Really? Let me look something up here. Google Google. I'm going to look something up here. Uterine prolapse is a common condition in elderly females. Really? However, uterine prolapse during pregnancy is rare, with an incidence of 1 per 10 to 15,000 deliveries. It can cause preterm labor, spontaneous abortion, fetal demise, maternal urinary complications, maternal sepsis, and death. Isn't that interesting? Now, where did you guys go? Where are you guys? I lost you. Just so you guys know, I've lost you. When I find you, I'll scream really loud. Are you guys still there? There you are. I found you. Did you hear what I just read? So Miss CD said her autopsy states prolapse uterus. And she wasn't feeling well that weekend? Interesting. Susie says, what size would fetus be at that many weeks? A nut? 4.2 ounces. And I thought it was interesting that the autopsy stated that's exactly what it was. Sue S. says they only had one car because I think Lavelle held the lease on the Lexus and they couldn't get a loan for another one. But they were making over $130,000 a year, right? Susie says her autopsy is not Bible. It doesn't state other things either. Sharon says, LOL, lots of love. Miss CD says, read Shannon's autopsy. I promise it reads that. Oh, I believe you. I totally believe you. I just wanted to look it up and see if that could have caused what it looks like it could have caused. Three of a Kind says, yes, I'm not. LOL. Lots of love. Prolapsed uterus. Comment disappears. Prolapsed uterus also causes spotting and bleeding. Interesting. Paula says, SW was sick on that trip with same issues as in North Carolina. She was out of network in Arizona too, right? Little Star. Actually, the Lexus lease was in Chris Watt's name. Three of a Kind. Pressure on the belly or back does not cause uterine prolapse. Susie says, could there be corruption with the autopsy also to run with the narrative? Well, I'm curious how an autopsy reads no scars, but claims hardware in the neck. But if there was some kind of a weird cover-up with an autopsy, then wouldn't they have tried to show signs of some kind of disease? instead of saying healthy. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm more about like talking about like how Bella had that look and the whole spraying water and ice and stuff like that. The autopsy, I glanced over and just kind of went, ew. I'm not as like techno as a lot of people are. I'm more about like the interpersonal dynamics. That's why it was so interesting when I was able to ask Cindy a bunch of different questions and stuff. I mean, just finding out about the Benadryl and Tylenol, to me, that was huge. That was huge. And also not studying, but thinking about it, how she bit her tongue and didn't say anything. And I'm not faulting her for it because I know that she knew that if she said something, that was her belief, right? She would be ghosted, as we saw with the whole nut thing. But I just can't imagine keeping my mouth shut with the whole Benadryl and Tylenol thing. Paula, I didn't know that. Are you kidding? Because I've heard people say that there was an ambulance. Interesting. I've been told that there was an ambulance, that they were actually at somebody's house who lived there, and that there was an ambulance to that house on Saturday night. Paula says her friends said they called an ambulance and SW refused to go for treatment. Interesting. Pink Ladybug says that Chris said he gave up the Mustang so she could get the Lexus. Wow. And Cindy said the insurance on it was really expensive, unaffordable. Daisy Day says she would be sick knowing no daycare fees and husband on the way out the door. Oh, she would be sick knowing that she couldn't pay the daycare center and that Chris was on his way out the door. Susie says, I didn't know that either, Paula. Free of a Kind says, right, Daisy Days. Little Star says, I was re-watching a Plunder video this morning about the bankruptcy and was happy to see a commenter, not myself, making the case that SW had MVP. Pink Ladybug says, at least say something to Chris about the Tylenol and Benadryl. Exactly. Exactly right. I mean, but the thing is, how many people knew, right? How many people were biting their tongue? That to me is just so interesting to think about that. I don't think physically it would be possible for me to not say something. Like, I really don't. The words would fly out. Like, what are you doing? Why are they having Benadryl and Tylenol every night at 6:30? And what dose are they having? And who said that they needed to have Benadryl and Tylenol? What's the doctor's name? Can I ride along next time you go see that doctor? you know, but everyone just bit their tongues. Miss CD makes a good point. Chris did as he was told. Mrs. J-Dub says, what friends, Paula? Daisy Day says, I heard that at the start, Paula, but no mention of it since. Daisy Day says, this was at the event, the weekend before the Arizona event, because that's what I was told, is that they were at somebody's house. One of the people lived there. They were at their house, and there was an ambulance called to that house on Saturday night. Interesting. Hey, Lilibet. Lilibet says, manipulators can be scary people, from the silent treatment to going psycho. Paula says, hi, 3 and Daisy. 3 of a Kind says, Chris had no voice and no say. It was her way or the highway. She chopped that man's balls off and flushed them down the toilet. I think she carried them in her purse. And I think she dangled them and said, you want these back? Then you'll do what I tell you to do. In like a really scary voice. I think that when she was yelling at Cindy right in front of all the kids, that Cindy attempted to murder Cece, I think that possibly was going on behind closed doors on Saratoga Trail. Just my opinion. Sue S. says, I suspect that SW left North Carolina because she was in deep doo-doo again. Grifter activities. Wasn't she accused of embezzlement by her employer before? No, she was named as a defendant in a court case, and she was quickly dropped as a defendant in that court case that did have some pretty interesting accusations. I think the reason she was named was because I think she probably trotted around as if she was part owner, and I think that once it was filed, they probably found out that she wasn't part owner. Sharon says she was detached from reality. True Crime Wifey says, I haven't seen your last video, MM, but holy moly, every night children also build up a tolerance to Benadryl. That is not good. Well, especially if you're claiming that those kids had asthma, what the hell are you doing suppressing their ability to breathe? And I'm not saying that those over-the-counter meds suppress their ability to breathe, but if they are truly suffering from asthma, why do you want them to be in la-la land? Doesn't make sense to me, especially when she got on that one video and said she gave the girls amoxicillin, or no, she said she gave the girls their medicines, and somebody who was watching the video asked the question, what medicines did you give them? I think that's interesting. Like, I thought that was interesting that somebody would say, what medicines are they getting? That kind of makes me wonder if people weren't a little bit worried already. And then she said, amoxicillin, prednisone, and lots of Tylenol. Isn't that weird how both girls always have the same stuff going on at the same time? Paula says, Miss Dub, the ones in Arizona, Amanda and Addie, because she was not eating or drinking and kept vomiting. She was vomiting too. Yeah, pregnant, 15 weeks, spotting, cramping, vomiting. Susie, true crime, very true. The dose would be upped. Miss CD, Shannon was shady. I do think she embezzled money from her former boss or was doing something for money for him. Mrs. J. Depp, SW had mental issues. CW knew and did nothing. He failed his family in many ways. True Crime Wifey, also they had the gender sonogram before she went to Arizona. She didn't mention that she was spotting and cramping at that appointment? Question mark. That wasn't a doctor appointment. That was just at one of those ultrasound places. So she didn't go there for medical care. She went there to get a picture taken. Hey, Dolo. Dolo says, the point where I lost all respect for Cindy was when she explained to you that she was a witness to dosing those girls every night. Cindy should have reported that abuse immediately. Well, Dolo, I wouldn't expect that to be the catalyst to losing all respect for Cindy, because there's something that you might want to ask yourself. Maybe she did. I'm not saying she did. I'm just saying maybe she did. Susie says, Mrs. SW had mental issues from an early age. Hey, Wendy. Wendy says, what is a clicking noise after you read each message? It's me clicking on the next message. And today, for some reason, when I click, it takes like 2 or 3 clicks. There. Did you hear that one? Little Bat says, still wondering, why did Nate retract his story of hearing them fight? Well, kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? If he starts right off saying, oh, yeah, I heard him yelling at her. I heard Chris yelling at her. And then how many weeks or months later? Well, yeah, I kind of exaggerated. They were yelling at each other. Paula says, let's get AD every live in video. That's the focus for those channels. That's what they're focusing on for sure. Wendy says, can everyone see the messages or can some of you not? This is why they are being read for us. Hey, Wendy. Fancy meeting you here. Sharon says, it's clicking on the text on the next message, Wendy, I think. Pink Ladybug says, yeah, remember? $500,000 a year. Miss CD says, CPS is a joke in this country. Oops, I'm scrolling. Wendy says, thanks, Sharon. Guess she is just reading them. I think Wendy's new here. Three of a Kind. I'm so intrigued by her first marriage. I love to hear her first husband speak out to know if she emasculating her first husband the way she did Chris. But like NK, he did the right thing staying quiet. Miss CD, do you know how many children have died even with CPS in their care? Yeah, the book I did on that One Child's Voice, two little girls, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, handed over to foster parents, and they didn't go through all the proper steps to be, qualified. They did a fast placement because the foster mother, and I don't like using that term, was well connected, and she was whining about how it was taking too long. She hadn't even turned in all of the forms yet. They didn't do a background on her. Ugh. And she beat on those poor little girls, and she murdered one of them. And I'm talking within a few months. What a disgusting case. Paula says, can you explain why they can't move past NK? Yes. The short answer, they're not here to discuss the case. They're not actual true crimers. They're reading scripts. They're reading from narratives that they've been handed to follow. They don't know the case at all. They don't care about the case at all. They're here for a variety of different reasons. Some are here to harass others. Some are here to make money. The NK thing is a focus that they've had, anytime they want to try to make a quick buck, I guess. Because NK wasn't involved at all. And they know it. Or I wouldn't say they know it, but I would at least say they don't have any reason to believe she was. I think they're just following their stupid scripts. Lilibet says, I love the messages being read. Thank you. You're welcome, Lilibet. Thank you. Mrs. J-Dub says, there's no record of an open CPS case. Maybe there isn't a record that's been made public. Sharon says, Paula, the names they call her is disgusting. The names they call who? Oh, NK? I know. I know it. Man, they just love to hate her, don't they? Right? But yeah, they're talking a bunch of hot air. Miss CD says, no, I know, J-Dub. I'm just saying. Susie says, agree, Sharon and Paula. It's disgusting. Mrs. J-Dub says, you think there'd be a record somewhere? You'd think there is a record somewhere if there's an open CPS case, but it may not be a record that's made available to the public. I was wondering something. I was listening to one of the police interviews. I don't know when. Last night, maybe? I don't know when. And the guy's sitting there giving his full address, phone number, everything. Why didn't they redact any of that information? That whole Freedom of Information Act release and stuff, any of the releases information to the public, they're supposed to redact that information. Why didn't they? Kimberly says, MM is the only one who reads comments. I love it. I can watch replay on TV and know what's happening. Pink Ladybug says, ugh, I remember that story. Heartbreaking. The one with the foster mom. 2 little girls, Layla and Millie. Layla was 2, Millie was 4, and those poor little girls suffered, so it was terrible. That story was terrible. People all around them. The next door neighbor was a nurse. I think it was her daughter or her daughter-in-law was a nurse. The foster mom brought an injured child over and was worried because I think she said she fell down the stairs or something. And she said that the injuries didn't seem to match what she was saying. Okay, call the police. you know? And then one of the ex-bosses, when she did an internship, I think, I'm not sure where, it might have been at the prosecutor's office or somewhere, and she had done an internship for a judge. I think one of the supervisors at the prosecutor's office sat on the board of the whole agency. She was on the board of directors. She met up for lunch, saw the little girl who had injuries. I think she had a black eye that day. I'm not sure. Never thought anything of it. Like, you place two little kids in with this lady and you totally ignore all these injuries? Everybody. It was disgusting, terrible. And each person, I feel like, oh my gosh. I mean, the lady didn't seem that impressive, the foster mom. So how did she know so many people? Oh, those poor little girls. True Crime Wifey says, oh wow, that's weird. All my sonograms were done at OBGYN. I think I have great medical care though. I only had one sonogram because I'm really super old. And back in the day, they didn't do ultrasounds unless you really were like, I want a picture. No, I'm kidding. But they didn't do them routinely. They didn't. I mean, the one that I had a sonogram for was for my youngest. By that time, because there's enough a difference in ages, then they started doing them. But I think even then, I think you only got one for the whole pregnancy. I know I only got one. They didn't, like, nowadays they do them all the time. Back in the day, they didn't do them at all. I think my first pregnancy, they probably hadn't invented it yet. I don't know, or it wasn't a thing. My second pregnancy, it was like only if there was some kind of issue. My third pregnancy, I think you got one for the whole pregnancy. I remember Hallmark started changing their baby books to have the place for the ultrasound picture. There's just a little tidbit, a little bit of trivia for you. The world according to Hallmark. Sharon says, that was a horrible case. Yes, it was. Sharon says, the children's services in England is shocking. I remember little baby P. Is he the one that was in the hospital? And they were trying to not let him be in the hospital or something? Was that like a couple years ago? Susie says, makes you wonder, as CW told Lana Banana to look into NK, and it started it all again. Okay, so Susie, hold up. You're believing anything Lana Banana says to you? Really? Really? Dolo says, Lilibet, did Nate have a real job other than embellishing details surrounding murder cases? I liked his hat. I thought he wore his hat well. Susie says, Sharon, baby? Sharon says, Susie, I've gone off that mock trial. Lilibet says, Dolo, ha ha ha. Susie, Sharon, me too. Sharon, he was only 17 months old, Susie. That was tragic. Baby P? Is he the one who was in the hospital? Missy D says, office managers in a wheel shop do not make $500,000 a year. I don't think that was a thing, ever. I was surprised by that comment for sure. And I would just ask the question, if she ever made that much in her entire life, where did it go? That's what Cindy Watts always says. Where did the money go? And she wasn't talking about that money or lack thereof. She was talking about her son's earnings. Sharon said, too many from NC's channel are there now. Susie says, Sharon, it was horrific. Susie says, Sharon, they have completely took over. Sharon says, yeah, they have, Susie, so I ain't watched it lately. Or, yeah, they have, Susie, so I ain't watched it lately. Well, you guys do know they're all connected, right? You get that. You get that, right? That is why I'm so shocked and appalled by the Watts family, any of them, having any contact with any of those people. Pink Ladybug is talking about the case out of Georgia and about the neighbor who was a nurse. She was a mandated reporter. There were many others. There was an injury at the gymnastics place, right? I mean, there are a lot of mandated reporters out there. But here's the thing that really bothered me about, well, that whole thing, all of it, is, they had a caseworker. They had a caseworker. And she was beating those children. Their bones were broken. They had fractures. They had black eyes. Okay. There was some serious physical abuse going on. And they had a caseworker who was, spot checking the house. And then she had a relative, a sister, I think, who was right there at the house. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they had a ladder in their yard, so she maybe fell off the ladder type testimony. What? If you're right there and you see these injuries, like, aren't you going, wait a minute, something's up with this picture, right? Something's wrong with this picture. You know who knew something was wrong was their great-grandmother. And that foster mom tried to get in the way of the great-grandmother being able to visit with the girls. And that great-grandmother, bless her heart, when she was on her way to classes, so she took the car seats with her. And that on the night that her husband was supposed to take the girls to see the great-grandmother. So she got in her car and she drove over. She's like, I'm going to see my girls. What are you trying to do? She's a spitfire, let me tell you. And then the birth mom, same thing. She was talking with the babies on the phone and she could tell there was something wrong. And it was like the night before the 2-year-old got murdered. And the birth mom was going to talk to the caseworker and say, what the heck's going on? Something's wrong. And then the 2-year-old was murdered the next day. Sue T says, we have a lot of Sues today. Sue S, Sue T. Wonder if they're related. Anybody's radar swirling or no? Mine is. Susie says, Sharon, not really facts now, all just fun and games. Little Bet says it was here near Atlanta. Yep, in McDonough. How do you say it? McDonough? Georgia. I don't know how to say it, sorry. Down the expressway about 45 minutes. Horrible. Sharon said, and I agree, Susie, and I'm sick of seeing the same people on the panel. Susie says, Sharon, agree. Well, I don't know how you guys can stand to watch any of that crap anyway, but that's just me. Susie says, no, not now, MM, but does make you wonder what's going on. Susie says, was years ago, MM. Three of a kind. Yes, that's a good point. Why was Bella, who was almost 5, still sleeping in a crib? She wasn't. She was in a regular bed. Dolo says, I've excused myself from Lena Banana's mock trial, and I'm angry that I watched as long as I did. Well, Dolo, better late than never. Live and learn. And you gotta experience it, I guess, to learn it. True Crime Wifey, MM. My OB wouldn't do a lot of them. I met with all my pregnancies. We did pay the extra money for the 4D sonogram with video and color. I bet that wasn't even invented yet when I was pregnant. That was done at my OB's office. Free of a Kind says, how come, Dolo? Sharon says, Dolo, I don't watch it now. It's gone to pot. Kimberly, what case are you talking about? Have no idea. What's the name of the case, guys? Jennifer Rosenbaum. Jennifer and Joseph Rosenbaum. Wendy says, what case are they speaking about? Well, there's another, yeah, the one in the UK, I don't know which case that is. The one in Georgia is the Rosenbaums. Sharon, Sue Ellen, that's all we need now. Sharon, we channel hop MM, looking for info. LOL, lots of love. but this is our home. Channel hopping's cool. Just be careful, because you know what they're up to. Dogo, 3 of a kind. I'm done with the trial because I know more facts than the entire cast. I'm telling you, they only know what they get from our channel. I'll tell you that right now. As we speak right now, let me count. As we speak right now, there are at least 14 who are watching and listening, who are here for the nefarious purpose of scribbling and copying things that we're saying so they can take the crap back to their fearless leaders. Oh, we dropped 2 really fast. Oh, 3. They're dropping, man. 3 just ran when I said that. That is hilarious. That is too funny. I don't think they get it that we can see other things. Another one just dropped. Whoa, let's watch it drop. Oh, this is too funny. This is funny. They're like, what? How does she know I'm here? Oh, that's too funny. Sorry, guys. I guess it's not really that funny. It was just cute. As soon as I said it, boom, they ran out to the door. Ah. Oh, they think they're so smart. Oh, my goodness. Sharon says, if I see someone badmouth MM, I want to defend you. Do not. Do not. That's all they're doing is just trying to bait you. Don't do it. Don't. Because then they start going after you. They've been going after me for 3 years, so don't join in the fun. Just seriously, if you see people saying whatever, just like step away from it, because if you say, hey, wait a minute, whatever, then you are on their list. So don't. Definitely protect yourself from that crap. That was so cute when I said that and they dropped so fast. Oh, that was funny. Love it. But if you notice, if you watch some of the other videos, some of the other channels, they say exactly what we say in here, like verbatim. There's, come on. Almost 3 years later, and they're just now talking about stuff that we've been saying. Come on. Pink Ladybug says, we are Bob's BOBs. Hear us roar. Oh. Susie's calling someone a liar. It's funny listening because I'm like, oh, got it. Okay, because you are a liar. Yeah, well, and if they're even saying a word about us or this channel, me, okay, ask yourself why. I'm not over there talking to them. I'm not engaging with them at all. So why? Why would they even be discussing it? Because they know? Well, it's in their scripts. It's in the pile of crap they get to, how you can make money today on YouTube. It's in the packet that they get for how to harass, for whatever purpose they're here for, whoever recruited them or whatever. They're told to do it, and they never, ever engage in an actual discussion. 3 of a Kind says, I just watch for the eye candy. I haven't seen any eye candy. Sharon says, that's why I say it's the only drama free. We do have drama, but at least we come by our drama naturally. We don't create it. We don't invent it. We try not to focus on it too long. Susie says she needs a new chair. KNEW. Well, you know what? You can get a new chair if you start your own channel. Then you can look like Captain Kirk and Dr. Spock. Or not Dr. Spock. Who is it? Is that, yeah, Spock. Not Dr. Spock. Just Spock. I'm not a Trekkie. And then she says, ops, new. You're fun, Susie. 3 of a Kind says, I have 0 interest in the mock trial. Susie's having fun. She corrected her typo with another typo. Well, I think it's interesting that they really hammered hard when we had our mock trial thing going, right? And then poof! They've been trying to put together a mock trial for almost 3 years. Yes, Sharon, I agree. I agree with you. Yep. Yep. That was quite the experience, wasn't it? So let me take a look at the time. Okay, we're coming up on 3 hours, guys. So guess what that means? This is one of the first live chats that I haven't yawned. That's cool. I'm just scrolling here. We're going to start doing the hey, good night, John Boy. And then I'm going to get back to doing stuff that needs to be done. But this was fun. I like doing a midweek, middle of the day. This was fun. I'm glad you guys decided to hop in and join in. So let's do this. I'll start with good night, John Boy. And then we'll touch base, let's say this weekend. How's that sound? Busy Mom says, I agree with Sharon. When all of a sudden we had all that traffic, that's when we had all, exactly right. Three of a kind, is it right where you are, MM? I thought it was still daytime. Oh, is it night? Yeah, maybe I am tired. It's daytime. Susie says, night, Grandma. Daisy Day says, don't go. I'm really ready to sit down. Sharon says, yeah, busy mom. Kimberly says, yes. Miss CD says, night. I had to look. Miss J-Dub says, night. Susie, we're all doxing ourselves now. Susie says, 8 p.m. here. And Three of a Kind says, night, Sue Ellen. Isn't it Mary Ellen? I can't remember. I think it's Mary Ellen. But there was a Sue, right? Was the youngest? What was the youngest girl's name? Because Mary Ellen was the teenager. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Anyone know? What about all you John Boy fans? Was it Mary Ellen or Sue Ellen? And if it was Mary Ellen, was the little girl named Sue? I don't think so. I probably would have remembered that. Lilibet says, can't wait to replay this evening. Dolo says, I'm sad I only caught the end of this chat. I have so much to say today. LOL, lots of love. Maybe it's the vodka. Love to all. Elizabeth. Okay, yes. It was Elizabeth. Was it Sue Ellen or Mary Ellen? Sue Ellen is... Huh? Oh, Dallas. Oh my gosh. We're old. You're right. Yes. Sue Ellen was Dallas. We're so old, you guys. Isn't it great? Yep, Sue Ellen Ewing. The royalty. Good night, JR. Missy G says Mary Ellen. Kimberly says, LOL, lots of love. Yes, I'm old. Sharon says, I love JR. He was hot. Okay, we'll make that one the comment that I'll put up on the screen. I didn't think JR was hot. I thought Bobby was hot. Bobby Ewing. He was hot. Not as hot as John Schneider, but he was close. Three of a Kind says, I think you should stay, MM, because Dolo has a lot to say and we want to hear. Okay, Dolo, hurry quick. Bring your vodka glass to the computer. Tell us quick. Yeah, Bobby was hotter. Patrick Duffy, yes. True Crime Wifey says, Bobby was hotter. Oh, I know it. Cliff Barnes was funny. He was a doofus. Patrick Duffy. Bobby was hot. Yep. Dolo, do you want to say something quick? We'll wait for you, Dolo, if you hurry. Daisy Day says, JR, stayed in a hotel I worked in threw dollar bills out the window with his name on it. Wow. Sharon says, did you know 3 were best of friends for 30? Wow. Dolo. Ooh, Tom Selleck was hot. He was definitely hot. Tom Selleck is one of the hottest ever, I think. You know, he has a house by where I live. And he jogs. And about 20 years ago, there were a few of us who were thinking of taking up jogging just for fun. We didn't. Sue S. says, I read somewhere that CW had excellent credit before he ran into Shannon. True Crime Wifey says, who shot JR? LOL. Lots of love. Wasn't that like an entire summer that we had to wait until the new season started? Ugh. Right? Three of a Kind says, you better write it down so you don't forget, Dolo. Did Dolo say something? Yes, I loved Magnum PI. Well, I didn't really love the show. I just loved Tom Selleck. I didn't see that Dolo said anything. Busy Mom says, MM, I absolutely enjoy listening to your opinions. Miss CD's going to teach me how to jog. I'm kidding. Suddenly, Miss CD wants to go jogging with Miss Mensa. I remember when Bruce Willis and Demi Moore had a house here. And one of the young gals at the restaurant waited on them and was so excited. Bruce Willis tipped her $100 bill. She was so excited. Oh, Dolo said something? Okay, Dolo said she will save it for the next live. Okay, I missed it. Sorry about that, you guys. I'm sitting here going, come on, Dolo. Sharon says, I love the scope of subjects we cover. LMAO, yeah, we have the PMS cookies, abortion, Tom Selleck, Bruce Willis. Oh, Dolo says, LOL, lots of love. I won't forget. I was admonished by Sandy and vodka or no vodka, I'm sharing it. You were admonished by Sandy? And you think we're going to say goodnight, John Boy, at this point? Okay, go ahead. We're waiting. Everybody, look at Dolo. 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 Hey, Dolo. Dolo. Dolo, are you typing fast? We are ready to hear what you have to say. Take the floor, Dolo. Susie says, take the floor, Dolo. Here is Dolo. LMAO. Dolo's laughing. No, Dolo, type. Type. Sharon says, I might change my YouTube name to Sharon Ann Ewing. Ooh, dreamer. LOL, lots of love. Dolo, we're waiting. Let's see. Let's go 3, 4, 5 minutes. Come on, Dolo. Daisy Day says, spill the beans, Dolo. Sharon Ann says, LOL. Lots of love, Susie. Dolo. Hello, Dolo. Dolo, can you hear me? Sharon says, come on, Dolo. LOL, lots of love. Oh, here it is. Dolo said, Sandy said she wants to splash me with holy water to get the evil out of you. All I did was say SW nails were obnoxious. Did you rebuke? I would rebuke. Definitely. That's sad. Daisy Day said none of the girls were baptized. I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised that we didn't see a bunch of pictures of baptism. Dolo says, then I said to Sandy, speaking of holy water, were your granddaughters ever baptized? Ooh, man. I wouldn't engage Dolo. I wouldn't. Hey, Lavina's here. Lavina, we were just leaving. We were leaving like 12 minutes ago or so. But then Dolo had something to tell us, so we're like putting Dolo on the spot. Lavina says, I went out and mowed my big front patch with my push mower, came in, and you guys are still here. Yeah. Okay. Sue S says, look on Reddit and see the comments about Shannon when they had dealings with her at Dirty South. Not very positive reviews about her. Little Star says, her nails were obnoxious. I agree. Sharon says, where did you speak to her, Dolo? Yeah, I would not engage Dolo at all. And when somebody says something like that, I would definitely rebuke. I don't know what you're saying, Sharon. Said he was reporting it? But I don't know what that means. I must have missed something. Three of a Kind says, what's off topic on Reddit is interesting. They dive deep. Sharon says, thought so, Susie. Dolo, have you passed out from all the vodka? I mean, are you taking a nap now? Or am I missing your comments? I might be missing your comments. Sorry if I am. Sharon says, is Reddit shiners? Susie says, I've heard that 3. Well, Dolo, try to look for us this weekend, and then we'll go ahead and ask you a bunch of questions. If you've got more to dish, more to share. Oh, Sharon is saying that, oops, where did it go? Sharon is saying that Shannon's dad went into Lana Banana's chat, and said he was reporting it. Wow. Della says, can't remember where I spoke with her. I am all over many channels with this. Can it even be true that Sandy goes through these channels? Comments. Well, if she doesn't, if they don't, then they have their, well, I wouldn't say they have their, but there are those people who claim that they're, working for different people. And like I said, we have, let me see, we have about 8 right now who are here who are absolutely known for being troublemakers. So I think we just dropped one. One of them went running. But I think what happens, quite frankly, is I think that the troublemakers try to get themselves involved somehow with the families, and then they, you know, hanker around other people's stuff to try to find so and so said whatever, and then they try to, you know, connect with the families and say, look at this, right? So even if different people aren't here themselves, I think a lot of them are being contacted. Look at the case that hit Colorado right after this case hit. Remember how some of the same scumbags were contacting the mother of the murder victim, and she went public right away within like 3 days. She's like, stop contacting me. Stop it, right? And they stopped what they were pulling. They were going to jump on that case just like they jump on this one. And they stopped because you know what? She wouldn't tolerate it. She went public and said, stop it. Stop sending me stuff. Stop telling me what people are saying. Stop it, right? And that case isn't getting used for all this crap, you know, for all the nefarious purposes of trying to harass people and make money and whatever. So I think that's what Cindy Watts needs to do. I think that's what they all should do, quite frankly, is stand up and say, stop sending me stuff. Just my opinion. Yeah, Dolo, next live, be here or be square. I think it's be there or be square. But hopefully, Dolo, you can join us next live and we'll ask you a bunch of silly questions. Okay, we won't go through the whole John Boy thing. Miss CD says, I work this weekend, but we'll watch the replay. Yeah, and I'm not even sure if we're going to do it live this weekend, Miss CD. Maybe Monday or so. Three of a Kind says, Susie, you need to have 100 points to be able to post in the group, though, which is annoying. I joined months ago and still only have 75, so can't post comments. Wait a minute. Are you guys kidding me? You can't post a comment? Let me guess, you're paying to be a member, right? Just wondering. Okay, good, Dolo. Yeah, keep your eyes peeled for us. Susie says, weekend, please. I think so. I do. So, okay, guys, have a great rest of the week, and we'll try to touch base this weekend. Everyone be safe, be healthy and happy, and know that you are loved.